activity. And yes, that's called sexual immorality. That's why we put it all in one lump sum, because I'd be writing too much and too long in this area. But the other hand is, what do we do about athletics? I think there should be separate men's and women's athletics. I believe if they talk about, well, if we play basketball, we should get paid the same. Well, I'm going to say this much, ladies, and you feminists are going to get hurt by this. I happen to say if you're just as talented as the men are, then get paid the same. Doesn't matter. Men, the feminists like to see equal pay and equal rights, which is fine. Equal pay is, I believe, is a good idea if you do the same job. If you can't do the same job, then you don't deserve to even work there or even do that work, and you don't deserve that kind of pay. End of sentence. I look at a few other things too when it comes to employment. I realize that women don't always get paid the same, or it takes them a while to catch up to a man's pay. But here's the thing. The world's not fair. Never is and never will be. I've been mistreated several thousand times. Number one, I was told I can't have a job because I'm a white male. They had to have a female do the job. And she wasn't qualified. Should I be angry? You betcha I should be. But here's the other thing. The feminists say that now are saying that every male should be wearing women's clothing. You know what I have to say about that? No. I'd rather wear my trousers. I'd rather wear my shirts. I don't need to wear your stupid underwear. And I am going to say it's stupid because here's why. A bra is meant for a woman to wear, to help support her breast, and to help keep her looking, or not looking, but help her keep her a little healthy so that she be a lot better, and yes, to help her look good too. I can't deny that. Your undergarments are meant for a couple things. Men don't need to wear that tight fitting clothing for undergarments. We don't need to wear pantyhose. We don't need to wear tights. We don't need to wear slips. We don't need to wear corsets or anything like that. What we need to do is keep the sexual orientation of people separate, because it gives us the liberty and freedom and choice. That's what I'm getting at here. Freedom and liberty to choose. And God said it best. Choose you today who you will serve. And that makes a lot of sense. I could say it that way. I could say it a different way. I could give you the whole verse, which I decided not to. But let's talk about a couple other things. Let's go back to education. Should education be the same across the board? I'm going to say no. Education should be a choice for the parents to make, how to educate their children. That's not the same across the board. It's not equality. If a parent chooses to send their child to a private school, that's up to them. It's not up to the government to determine what to do. It's not up to the government to say, well, that school has to have Common Core standards, and the child has to take a loyalty oath to the Islamic State of Muslims, such as Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and the Taliban. That's not what that's all about. That's not freedom of choice. Those type of things would come from Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders. Now let's get on to something called health care. Is there a difference between men's health and women's health? Yes, there is. Is there a reason for that? Yes, there is. The sexual makeup of a woman is a lot different than the sexual makeup of a man. Women are meant to be the way that they are when they are developed in their mother's womb. Men are the same thing. Now, the idea here is when you got education, you educate a child the way you feel fit. And to tell grandparents they can't interfere with the education of a child is immorally wrong. To tell the parents that each child has got to make a choice of what sexual orientation, in case you're a liberal, will say gender is when you enter school is wrong, because they come out as either a male or a female when they come out of the mother's womb. God created them a male or a female in the mother's womb for a reason. So we'll not go into that area too right now, but we'll say it this much. So then we could say, what is freedom and liberty when you send your child to school? What is it? Is it what the liberals want? Is it what the communists want? The socialists? The Democrats want? See, the Democrats, socialists, liberals, and communists all want one thing. They want immorality. And that's exactly how they want to govern, with immorality as the right thing. Immorality gives you no choice. We've seen that throughout our time. We see that with the protesters in North Carolina, especially the ones that are saying that that people have the right to choose which bathroom they want to go pee in out in public, which is wrong. You should choose the gender. You should choose the bathroom of your sexual orientation. In case of a liberal, in your gender of that you were born with, what God gave you with. That's the way it should go. Now, some people say, "Well, I'm a libertarian. How can I take that point of view?" Well, I'm going to tell you how I can take that point of view. It's called a biblical point of view. As a libertarian, and as a libertarian, God would love libertarians because we love freedom and liberty. Some people don't always understand it. Some people don't understand what is freedom and liberty. But the key point is, a libertarian would look at what freedom and liberty is all about and make a choice. That's why I could say I'm a libertarian with a biblical point of view, world point of view. I have many pastors and ministers that say that's a great point of view. They bring out, when they preach, they bring out the libertarian point of view a lot. And it's preached a lot. They say it's okay. It's okay to preach the moral point of view. That's why, as a libertarian with the biblical point of view, there is no liberalness in there. There is what we call very much conservative point of view, a biblical point of view, and a straight point of view. Some would say it's a narrow point of view, which is okay. I'd rather be called somebody with a narrow point of view and stick to my principles and stick to the points. Because here's why. When we libertarians want to make a law, we don't just want to make a law that would go up against one special interest group. Or two, we want to make a law that's going to make it say, okay, if that's your choice, then make your choice and stick with it. Just be aware, once you violate that choice and what you've chosen, there's consequences. It's called, you're in jail. And that's it. And you'll be charged with something. We also look at a couple things too, and I really do. I examine these points very clearly. When I speak about liberty and freedom, what is it? I look at those point of views. I also look at the point of view that it would be great if the nation was debt-free again. It would be great if the nation would go back to its founding fathers in the way the founding fathers wanted the United States of America to be. It would be great if we had better entrepreneurship here in this nation. That's the libertarian point of view. I believe that's what it is. I could be wrong. If my fellow libertarians told me that I'm wrong, then I will confess and say I am wrong. Let's put it that way. But as far as I'm going to do, I'm going to stick with the biblical worldview, which is a very conservative worldview, which is a great way to look at different things, which is the best way to examine things. A liberal, Democrat, communist, socialist do not examine anything. Their worldview is control, requirement, mandate, mandatory, force, and how to destroy freedom and liberty. That is a very narrow point of view, worldview. It's a secular worldview, which is true, because most secular worldviews, you can't have freedom and liberty. Everybody's got a worldview. Either you got a secular worldview or you got a biblical worldview. You can't have both. Because freedom and liberty is based on your worldview. And in my case, it's based on the worldview that God has. Our holy and merciful God. The worldview that I'm looking at is liberty and freedom, and what is it? That's why I wrote my book, Freedom and Liberty. That's why I had it published, and it came out on Easter Sunday. That's why it came out, so that you, the listeners, have a chance to look at a very good worldview and a very good thought out idea. Matter of fact, let's go back to the idea of a biblical worldview. And I understand, like I said, there are libertarians that don't believe in God, and I accept that as truth. On the other hand, I question some of the Republicans that believe in God, and I know that none of the Democrats and liberals and communists and socialists believe in God, but let's put it this way. God sent His one and only Son into the world to die for our full salvation, and to bring us a peace that we will never fully understand. But if you don't believe in Jesus Christ as your Lord and personal Savior, one suggestion, it's not a requirement, because a libertarian will never make it a requirement, that you examine and take a true examination of exactly what that is, what you're examining, what a Christian really is. And with only about 30 seconds left, let's end the program with saying to both sinner and non-sinner alike, that means you, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord's face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up His countenance upon